It's Friday, November 21st, 2025. Another exciting day. We witnessed more manipulation. The meeting with Trump and Mamdani, very interesting. Talk about all this. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Please like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. Just sitting out here enjoying the weather. It's been, the weather's been absolutely phenomenal. But let's get into some of this news. New York Fed President Williams sees room for further adjustment to rates. So John Williams, Fed president, early this morning, pretty much said that, he's all for a December rate cut. And this absolutely triggered the market this morning, and it never looked back. In fact, the Dow Jones was up over, I believe, over 700 points at one point. We ended up 493, NASDAQ up 195. So we witnessed another miracle on Wall Street today. After what we saw yesterday, it comes right back today, just on the words of John Williams, Fed president. All he had to do is come out this morning and say a few words and everything was back to normal. This is quite concerning because this is how dependent these markets are on a rate cut, even if it's 25 basis points. If we do not see rate cuts, the markets are in very, very big trouble. This is how rigged the system is. This is how manipulated the system is. This is how fragile and weak these markets really are, because without a 25 basis point cut in December, these things are vomiting. So it'll be very interesting to see how it all plays out. Will we get a rate cut in December? Comment down below. More than likely, we will. If we don't, could be problems. But what do you think about this? The markets don't care about unemployment, jobs. It doesn't care really about too much other than rate cuts, from what I can tell. It doesn't really care about the economy. It doesn't care about small businesses. Doesn't care about war. Doesn't care about inflation. All these markets care about is cheap money and rate cuts to get that cheap money. CNBC, Trump praises New York City Mayor-elect Mamdani after White House meeting, shrugs off being called fascist. I watched this meeting today, and I have to say it was a good meeting, very cordial, very cohesive, a lot of compliments coming from both sides, and I think a lot of people were really surprised on how well it went. But at the end of the day, I think New York's going to be in very, very big trouble, and I think Trump is just going to let Mamdani basically screw the entire city up beyond what it is already screwed up. So we'll see how it plays out. Is there hope for New York City? Look, I'm calling it the way I see it. The meeting went very, very well. It seemed very respectful on both sides. I got to give Trump credit for having this meeting with Mamdani and showing a lot of respect and very courteous. Said a lot of nice things about him. But at the end of the day, it might have all just been talk, and he's just going to let Mamdani just dig his own hole. We'll see how it plays out. But if you watched it, what were your thoughts on it? Is there hope for New York? It all sounded well today. Yes, they want to build more. They want to create more jobs. They want people to be able to have, make enough wages to be able to live. Is it even possible? I don't know. To me, New York City is going to be in very, very big trouble, and we're going to continue to see the money pour out of New York City. Wall Street Journal, the middle class is buckling under almost 5 years of persistent inflation. I got to ask all of you, will the cost of food, the cost of services, the cost of insurance, is it ever going to come down? I don't know. I'm beginning to wonder if it will ever come down. I watch a lot of news, and I see a lot of economists out there. They're always talking about how bad deflation is. Is inflation really that, or deflation really that bad? They talk about how bad deflation is, not inflation, but deflation. I think we need some deflation. I think we need to see major deflation in America, especially in the housing market. Who would really argue with the cost of things coming down, way down, especially when things are in such a bubble like they are right now? And of course, I do think that there's a lot of price gouging going on, and I think something has to be done about that. But we also understand that inflation is higher than it should be right now too, and it's just not coming down. So Something is going to have to give here. And I think that the only thing that solves this is a major economic collapse. Another one today, Chicago homeowners facing the largest property tax jump in at least 30 years. The median residential bill jumped more than 16%. It's amazing that we watch these broke cities. What do they do in broke cities? They go after the homeowner, or they go after the taxpayer. So sales taxes go up, property taxes go up. Anybody that has money, they go after. And so cities like Chicago, and what do you think is going to happen in New York? They'll do the same thing. They're going to squeeze as much blood out of the turnip as they can with whoever's remaining. And unfortunately, it'll be the middle class, lower middle class, and poor. Those are the people that will get gouged because they're the ones that just can't afford to get out. But Chicago never ceases to amaze me. Unbelievable. Really sad what's happening. And how much more can they gouge people? They're gouging everybody at the stores. The insurance companies gouge you. Now the cities are gouging you at property taxes. How much more is left before there's just nothing left to gouge? Amazon cut more than 1,800 engineers in record layoffs despite saying it needs to innovate faster. That on CNBC today. Nobody's safe. Nobody is safe. And the job losses continue as they tell us that unemployment goes down, but we continue to see these job losses rise. The Telegraph, all the signs that America may be teetering on the brink of recession. I don't get what people don't see here. We've been in a recession for over 3 years. Some would say at least 5 years, since 2020. But I would say at least at minimal 3 years. But yeah, you could argue since 2020. It says, underneath the AI sheen, U.S. unemployment is rising and households are burdened with debt. Let me be very, very clear again, ladies and gentlemen. We are not teetering on a recession. We have gone way past the precipice of recession. We have been in a recession. Now, maybe if you're in the top 10%, you don't feel like you're in a recession. But if you're not in that top 10%, you're in trouble. You're feeling the pain right now. And you're watching your bank account, your checking account shrink. You're watching your bills go up. You're tossing and turning at night, wondering how you're going to make your insurance payment or your rent or your mortgage. You're wondering how you're going to make the car payment. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen the economy this bad. Comment down below. Have you seen a worse economy than this? I have never seen it this bad, and it just continues to go on and on and on. We've been dealing with this for years, and it just doesn't seem like it can be resolved. It doesn't seem like we ever see an improvement in the economy. It just continues to falter. Death by 1,000 cuts. Here's another one. Half of Americans plan to take on holiday debt. As you know, 70% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck, and yet half of Americans plan to take on holiday debt. People just don't learn their lessons. 79% plan to use a credit card. People just don't listen. 52% don't plan to pay off their holiday balance in full when the bill comes due. Why in the world, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, would you do this? This is complete foolishness. Paycheck to paycheck, and yet you use a credit card at 25%, 27% to go further into debt, knowing damn well you're not going to be able to pay it off when the bill comes due. How many people out there haven't even paid off last holiday season, and they're going to go out and commit the same thing all over again in 2025? You know, people at some point are going to get what they deserve. They are going to get what they deserve. People continue to want to live way above their means. They continue to want to live to impress people they don't know. They want to continue to go broke to try and live a lifestyle they cannot afford to impress people they don't know. Big mistake. Don't get pressured with this, ladies and gentlemen. This holiday season, maybe you got pressured last year and you gave in. Don't give in this year. If somebody doesn't like you because you didn't give them a gift, then maybe you need to find new friends. Maybe you need to question their friendship. and their loyalty. But this is a big, big mistake if you're going deeper into debt over the holiday season. Fed won't give key inflation data before next rate decision as Bureau of Labor Statistics cancels October CPI release. Does this even really matter? Do you think the Fed does not at this point really know what's going on, that they need the BLS data? You think that they don't know? Of course they know. It's really unbelievable how this continues to go on. But whether they get the key data, hey, Turbo, whether they get the key data or they don't, they know exactly what's going on. The question is now, what will they do in December? Something tells me, I don't know. To me, it's 50-50 at this point. Today, of course, markets juiced by the Fed president coming out and saying, "Look, I think we're going to, we really need that December rate cut," and that's all the market needed to absolutely soar today. But it's amazing how they play these markets like a banjo. It really, really is. Here's another one from the Hedge today. Bitcoin realized losses rise to FTX crash levels. Where is the bottom? Comment down below, where is the bottom? As I make this video, it's sitting right about $84,000 per Bitcoin, right about 85,000, between 84 and 85,000. Will you buy the dip? Will you buy the dip? Apparently, a lot of you know quite a bit about cryptos and Bitcoin. You're down about $42,000 from the high. Where is the low? Will you buy the dip? Are you losing faith in the cryptos? I never had much in them, but when I see something drop $42,000 from its all-time high, I'm a little leery. The Telegraph, Trump's tech company loses $400 million as Bitcoin plunges. This loss was on the stash of Bitcoin as the price plunges. I've got to ask all of you this, whether you own Bitcoin, you don't, you believe in it, you don't. How in the world can this be sound money or a safe haven asset when you have fluctuations to this degree? This doesn't seem like there's anything sound about it. This does not seem like a safe haven asset, because it seems like when the market's correct, this thing plunges. When there's fear in these markets, this thing plunges. And even though the market was up today, Bitcoin is still down. So something is going on. This to me has been a Ponzi scheme from day one. And it's always going to be a Ponzi scheme. And I guess we're just going to find out how it all plays out. And we will find out. We will find out. Personally, me, I'm sticking with gold and silver, especially gold. 5,000-year history. Yes, it fluctuates. It does not fluctuate like this. And as times get worse, you're going to thank God you had some gold and silver. That is for sure. Here's another article today. 42% of births in Canada to foreign-born mothers. Interesting. I find it funny, living in Palm Desert, and the Canadians saying and threatening that they were going to sell their vacation homes in the desert, that they weren't going to vacation in Palm Springs or Palm Desert, that they didn't like the president or the administration, and they were going to take their money somewhere else. There's some really good Canadians out there. But to the people out there that were making threats, that we're not going to vacation in America. We don't like your country. We don't like your administration. And I saw it firsthand in the desert, because we have a lot of Canadians that have second homes in the desert and vacation in the desert. You shouldn't really worry about our administration. I would worry more about your own country. And this statistic right here, 42% of births in Canada to foreign-born mothers. Maybe you shouldn't worry so much about our administration and your vacation home and where you're going to take a vacation. I would worry more about what's happening in your own backyard, what's happening in your own country, and what's happening with your own government. Just my opinion right there. Comment down below. 1 in 8 American students unable to understand basic math. This is, again, just reinforcing what I'm saying, the threat that China is now, because I will tell you, China knows what's going on in America, and they see this. So we're going to import more students into our colleges when 1 in 8 American students can't even understand basic math. What does this all look like 10, 20 years from now as China educates its people and Americans, they're playing video games. They want to be reality TV stars or, social media stars. And 1 in 8 students cannot understand basic math here in America. This doesn't happen in China. And this is why I'm so worried about America. And I'm worried about the threat of China, because China is arming their people with educations. They're arming their people with buying gold. America, we just don't seem to care anymore. And we're just going to hand over our country, a first world power. We're just going to hand over what we've built up, what we fought for, what we died for, and just basically hand it over to a communist country and just say, here, we're just too lazy. We'll keep educating you. We'll keep printing money. We'll keep starting wars. We'll finance wars. We'll go deeper into debt. We'll keep devaluing the US dollar while you buy more gold. What will we do? We'll just keep living in this make-believe bubble. And we're going to pay a severe price here, ladies and gentlemen. And I think China is licking its chops because they see the future. And they see the American people as weak, dumbed down, overweight, uneducated. And if we don't turn this around quickly, we're in very, very big trouble. I'm going to leave it there this evening. I hope everybody had a great day. Have a great weekend. I'm really, really concerned about this country. Every day, I grow more and more concerned about the direction we're going in, the health of this country, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. We are a bankrupt nation. We don't build or make anything here. Another big problem when you look at China that's manufacturing literally everything. Big trouble ahead. So as people are watching their football games this weekend, as they're, drinking and partying in Vegas, take a little bit of time, put a little, food and water away, put a little gold and silver away, get out to the range, polish up those skills a little bit, and walk the walk. God bless. Talk to all of you very, very soon. Be safe out there.